The Creatures of Chaos podcast is designed for entertainment purposes only. The information provided and opinions expressed throughout this podcast should not be taken as medical advice, diagnosis, and/or treatments. This is not a substitute for professional care. If you or a loved one have or think you have any medical problems, please consult with your local medical provider. And if this is an emergency, please call 911 or your local emergency number.
Well, welcome back, everybody. We are on episode 2 of season 2.
Ooh.
And this is an episode that might pull at your heartstrings a little bit, or it feels a little bit, but
might be a little bit of a heavier episode.
Yeah. So, we will start with our vocabulary, though, with Bo.
Hey, everybody. This week's vocabulary is not a really fun one. I mean, just to kind of tie in with our episode. This word is lugubrious.
What?
I've definitely heard that word in a Disney movie.
That's what I was thinking too.
I've never heard that before in my life.
I want to say it was in The Great Mouse Detective.
Something like that.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see. What do I think it means? Can you use it in a sentence? I feel like I'm in a spelling.
I could, but that...
Oh, we get away.
Yeah.
Okay. No spelling bee today, I guess.
Okay.
Lugubrious. I'm going to say that it is when you are upset. It's very broad. That's all I got.
Sure. I'm gonna say, oh gosh, I don't even know. We're gonna go with the act of being upset, like acting out.
Very close. It's looking or sounding sad or gloomy.
So I was just going with the wrong emotion.
It's Eeyore. Eeyore is lugubrious.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Or sadness from Inside Out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Speaking of Inside Out, that's such a good movie. Have you seen it?
The first one?
The first one.
Yeah.
Okay, so with my segment, What to Watch with KK, Inside Out 2.
Was that really?
That was it.
Oh,
So,
not seen that one.
oh, it's good.
It's very good.
Can we watch it on a streaming service?
I think Disney Plus has it.
Yeah,
though.
it does.
Is it on anything besides Disney Plus?
Maybe Peacock.
Well, I think I might have my dad's Disney Plus.
Oh.
I just don't remember.
Yeah. No, Inside Out 2. It is very, very good.
It is very good.
It introduces new emotions that were not in the first one. Sadness is the main character of the first one.
Mm-hmm.
Then you hit teenage years and it's just, surprise, here comes anxiety. I'm here for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So it's really good. If you have not watched it, I definitely recommend watching Inside Out 2. But you really should, if you haven't seen the first one, you need to watch the first one before you watch the second one so it makes sense. But
Fun fact, me and my oldest went to that movie in theaters. And there's like in the theaters, you're supposed to turn your phone off. And I didn't for some stupid reason. And it was like at the very end, like things were all coming together. It was like a real emotional part of the movie. And my phone rang. And everyone was like, I'm so sorry. It was so embarrassing.
That literally just reminds me of, were you there when we went and watched Pitch Perfect in the theaters? Were you there?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so we went and watched Pitch Perfect in the theaters, and my aunt happened to be there as well.
God,
Was it?
staple in my head?
I think it was Aunt Rhonda.
It might have been.
I think it was Aunt Rhonda. But it was after the part where she reveals that her name is Fat Patricia,
Mm-hmm.
and I died laughing because Trisha, because like, I mean, how often do you meet a character who has the same name as your best friend?
Right.
It was hilarious. Well, after the scene had already gone on, I'm still dying of laughter because it's me and I
The whole
laugh
time.
all the time.
Mhm.
Well, if you don't know me, I also, when I'm laughing really, really hard, sometimes snort. And it was a really, really quiet point in the movie, and I was still laughing. And I snorted.
Oh my gosh, it was a group of us that went, and that's a staple in my head is that night.
Yep. Everyone in the theater laughed at me.
Oh,
Everyone.
gosh, that's so
And my aunt knew that it was me.
how embarrassing.
Yep.
I thought it was great.
It was wonderful. At the time, it was not. I was so embarrassed, but
Also, just remember that if you want to talk about anything, need some moral support, any of that, send it in.
yeah, write to us. We got you.
Comment. We're here.
Yeah.
Hang out. So this week we are talking about the winter blues. This is something that I think that people kind of just push to the side. I mean, they don't really think about it. And it is known as seasonal depression or seasonal affective disorder. Ironically, the acronym is SAD. So that's sad. So for this one, if you were listening, let's have a put a finger down challenge. And we're going to go over the signs and the symptoms of SAD.
How many fingers? 5 or 10?
10.
10.
Maybe more. I don't remember how many I wrote down. Just wrote them down. Okay. Ready. Okay. So first, well, this is just a little intro of how it begins. So don't put the fingers down yet. Okay. So typically it begins when the days start getting shorter, and this can last for 4 to 5 months, but even longer if you live in very cold states. So like Iowa, like our winters are super long here. So it's something that can last longer here. But if you're in the South, where I would love to be, probably a little bit shorter. Okay, ready?
Yes.
Put a finger down if
So my thing is moving so much. I'm so like I'm sorry if I'm wiggly.
I might have to get her like sandbags or something.
something.
Then I don't know.
Okay, so put a finger down if at the beginning you feel a little bit of sadness or anxiousness.
The beginning of what?
End of winter.
The beginning of winter.
Oh, I was like, what? Sorry.
Put a finger down if you have feelings of hopelessness, irritability, or frustration. Put a finger down if you have feelings of guilt and helplessness. Put a finger down if you have loss of interest, like your hobbies or activities. Put a finger down if you have decreased energy. Put a finger down if you have fatigue. Put a finger down if you have difficulty concentrating or making decisions. Put a finger down if you experience memory loss.
Why do I have bubbles?
What?
I have balloons. Did no one see that? Does no one see that? Why do I have balloons?
What is going on? Where are they coming from? um I really hope this episode has like audio and video for people to see what's happening. What is going on?
I don't know, but let's just keep going. That was great. I might be crying.
She may bring out the snort today. Oh my goodness. Okay.
They're back.
What is going on?
I wonder if it's because I'm holding up a peace sign.
Is it your
But it's on my phone.
Oh, well, I don't know.
I wonder if it's because I'm holding up a peace sign. Here, let me go like two. It is a peace sign.
Oh, that's interesting.
Okay, I'm holding up an L.
L for love. Okay, so put a finger down if you experience physical changes like aches, pains, headaches, unplanned weight changes, and increased appetite.
Dang, maybe that's why I started losing weight again. Dang it, now I got a thumbs up bowl. This is all gonna, that's so cool. I didn't know it would do that. This is all gonna stay in.
Oh my goodness, we're learning so much still. Oh man, thanks for being on our journey.
And if you are just listening and not watching, you need to hop on over to YouTube and watch these videos because
they're interesting. So those are like the main things. The last thing that I have is suicidal thoughts. Okay, so those are all. How many fingers do you have up?
I still have 0.
I was hoping that they wouldn't put all of them down. That's okay. We're growing. It's fine.
Yep.
Those are the main signs and symptoms of when seasonal depression is setting in. And obviously these things can last throughout the whole 4 to 5, however many months. But those are the first signs and symptoms. What do you have for us, B?
So I wanted to inform everybody about the different kinds of depression. Going into this, I knew that there was like environmental depression and that there's clinical depression. But there are 6 main types or 6 types of depression. There are 4 main types of depression. And those 4 main types of depression are major depression, persistent depressive disorders, formerly known as
something else.
Big words.
We'll just step this part out. But
I know that was what I was going to. I don't know if I can exit out of it.
Where?
Dysthymia. Okay, so persistent depressive disorder, formerly known as dysthymia. I may be saying that wrong. Bipolar disorder, which was also known as manic depressive disease, and then seasonal affective disorder. So I'm going to kind of explain a little bit briefly which each one is, which KK already kind of touched on one of them. So major depression is what your classic or your typical depression would be, what most people think of as depression when they think of depression. It's a state where you are in a dark mood that is all-consuming, and one loses interest in activities that are usually pleasurable. So like things that you find enjoyable, you lose interest in. And your dark mood is all-consuming. Usually it's pretty inhabilitating. People struggle with their day-to-day life with this depressive disorder. The persistent depressive disorder refers to a low mood that's lasted for at least 2 years, but may not reach the intensity of a major depressive disorder. Many people with this depression type are able to function day to day, but they feel low or joyless most of the time. So it's not as severe as major. It's kind of just a step below, but it's on the way to being there. Bipolar disorder, which again was once known as manic depressive disorder, which is why it's considered a depressive disorder. So it's where they have episodes of depression, but then they also go through mania, or high energy levels or activities. So that's kind of the opposite symptoms of depression symptoms. So like grandiose ideas, unrealistically high self-esteem, lack of the need for sleep, thoughts and activities at a higher rate of speed. Those are all examples of mania. So it's you have very, very low lows and very high highs, and it goes back and forth, kind of like up and down roller coaster. And then there is seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, which is also known as the winter blues. This is shown within the days when the days get shorter in the fall and winter. Moods can change due to the alterations in the body's natural daily rhythms, the sensitivity to light in the eyes, and how the chemical messengers like serotonin and melatonin function. So it's not just because the days get shorter or it gets dark sooner. It does cause physical changes within your body that cause that depression. There are 2 more types of depressive disorders that only affect women. And this is because they are influenced by our reproductive hormones. And this is prenatal depression and menstrual dysphoric disorder, or PMDD. I believe I said all that correctly. If I did not, I apologize. Prenatal depression includes major and minor depressive episodes during pregnancy or within the first 12 months after delivery, which is also known as postpartum depression. And this usually or can affect up to 1 in 7 women who give birth. PMDD is a severe form of premenstrual syndrome, or PMS. Symptoms usually begin shortly after ovulation and end once menstruation starts. So I thought that was I didn't know that there was 2 types of depression that only affected women. I only knew about postpartum.
Yeah.
So that was really interesting to find out. And I actually didn't know that bipolar was listed as a depressive disorder either.
I didn't know that either.
So that was really cool to find out.
What do you think? Do you think that you have experienced multiples of those, or one of those, or?
I have definitely experienced multiple. I have 1000% experienced major depression, where I cannot move, I can't function, I can't really get out of bed, I can't do anything. I'm always kind of in a state of persistent depressive disorder. Like I'm just always kind of there, like low mood, but I can still function day to day.
Yeah.
So that's always where I kind of am.
Mm-hmm.
And I always get seasonal depression every winter.
Yeah.
Never fails.
I definitely get seasonal depression too.
And I don't, because I have BPD, I don't know if I would be considered under the bipolar because they're so similar, but I don't think so. Because I don't experience the mania like they do in bipolar.
Yeah.
At least to the extreme. So at least 3 out of the 4.
Yeah. Different stages of my life. I've had different, but the 2 main thing, definitely seasonal. Oh Lord, in the fall, and just I can feel it creeping in. And there's just like this daily heaviness, that makes the winter months a little bit harder.
Yeah.
But my biggest one, especially right after I had my oldest, so 12 years ago, I had really bad postpartum depression with him. But 12 years ago, I didn't seek help for it. And I should have.
Yeah.
And I just didn't realize like how easy it is to really just go talk to your doctor.
Right.
And they can prescribe you something, or you can go to therapy. There's stuff that you can do to combat that a little bit. And I did not. And I spent that entire year like very, very secluded, I cried every day. I had a really hard time.
Yeah.
And I don't remember my oldest, my son, I don't remember his first year of life, hardly at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are my 2 big ones.
I also feel like, especially with postpartum, back then it wasn't as, like, not advertised, but like pushed to get help for it.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that.
Yeah. Now, I mean, you have a baby, and that's like your first appointment. How are you doing? How are you doing mentally? How are you? And I never got that with 12 years ago. I never got that from that doctor. Maybe, I don't know if it was just that doctor specifically or just the time period. It just wasn't as common.
No, because even with Boo, after I had Boo, I had it really bad too, but that was not something that I didn't address it. My doctor didn't address it. But after I had the twins and Nardo, every single time I went in after, whether it was for me or for them, I had to do a depression test. I had to rate myself.
Yep.
But I knew after that I had Boo that I needed to be on something after I had the twins because the postpartum was so bad.
Yeah.
I didn't need that after Nardo, but I think due to some traumatic experiences.
Yeah.
And
Mine was completely different because
Mm.
I was already in therapy before I gave birth. Like,
Yeah.
I already had that going.
Yeah.
We already knew that depression was going to be a big issue after I gave birth. So I was never specifically asked by my doctor about postpartum. It was already set up through my therapist.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they were prepared, folks.
Yeah, we were way prepared. I mean, we knew very early on that there was going to be adoption and all of that. So like we knew that those safeguards were going to have to be in place for my mental health and stuff like that. So, but I don't think it would have been as focused on if we wouldn't have done it ourselves.
Sure. Right.
We
Yeah.
definitely had to advocate for me
Yeah.
in more ways than one.
Yeah.
Which that's a good thing that they didn't pause that.
Yeah.
They kept continuing on with it, with the pregnancy and the labor and delivery and all of that.
And honestly, that was my dad. I mean, I would not have made it through that time period without him. And like my mental health would not have made it as well as it did if he was not advocating for me and my mental health.
That's good though. So depression was not something that I didn't deal with it a whole lot in high school. Every once in a while I would, have phases, I guess. But really the biggest depression I ever had was postpartum. And then after that, it's like it just turned into anxiety. Other than like the seasonal depression. And with the seasonal, wow.
The seasonal.
With the seasonal depression that I do get, oh my gosh, I'm just so tired. Dishes is so much work, and laundry and going to activities, and I just want to relax on the couch. But you can't force yourself to get up.
Yeah.
And it's hard when you live in a state of that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And it's not just me in the house. Like I notice, with other people in the household, like they just want to lay there and do nothing.
It's hard.
Yeah. I don't know.
But there's nothing quite like the feeling of like when it's spring and you get that warm and there's a little color outside and you roll your windows down in the car and there's a high that comes with that.
Oh, I agree.
So good. You just feel yourself coming back.
I was gonna say my favorite thing is being able to open the windows in my house for the first time.
Yes, and then you turn on awesome music and you clean and you just feel so much better.
Cleaning and you're just like letting the winter stink out.
Right.
Yeah.
Like you're cleaning out your house, you're cleaning out your winter blues, like you're clearing everything out.
Yeah. So
Time to go.
something to look forward to.
Yeah. What do you have for treatments and stuff and outlets and
Obviously, if you just think that you got a little depression starting, I mean, if you just can feel it coming on a little bit, you should really try. I mean, it's easier said than done. You should really try to seek help, even if you're just talking, like opening up a dialogue with your friends and just letting someone know that you're not okay. That can be a huge help. But don't be afraid to contact your doctor. Or, seek real medical help. There's also, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration. You can just type it up on Google. Just type in SAMHSA. And that's a really good site that you can go to, and it will help you find services near you in your area.
And we will have all this listed in the show notes.
Yes.
Yep. And also, if you are feeling suicidal, that is an emergency, and you need to, really, take that seriously. You can call or text 988. It's a good helpline. Or 911 if it's a real, like you're going to act on it. You need someone to get there. don't be afraid to call 911.
Mm-hmm.
Try to take care of yourself.
And even if you do little things like journaling, write your feelings down.
Journaling is huge.
Yeah.
Literally just getting those thoughts out of your head onto paper. Like, if you've never journaled before, it literally just gets it out of your head. So it's not stuck. It has somewhere to go. Even if you burn it afterwards, who cares?
Yeah.
Get it out of your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go to a rage room.
Yeah.
I really want one of those around here.
Me too.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And honestly, speaking as someone who has had pretty severe depressive episodes where I have locked myself in my room and I have not let anybody in. If you notice your friends are acting in that regard and you notice their behavior changing and you notice that something is wrong, don't be afraid to, pull them aside and ask them what's going on. Don't be afraid to speak up. Don't be afraid to reach out to somebody else and be like, hey, have you noticed their behavior? Like, we need to do something. Like, check on your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you think, hey, like their behavior was a little off, like I don't know if something's wrong, check on them. Just do it. Because it literally means the world to us. It really does. Even if at the moment, in the heat of the moment, we're like, leave us the fuck alone. Like, we don't want anything to do with this because we're depressed.
Pry.
Do it.
You pry.
Do it. Because in the long run, we appreciate it.
You always... It might be uncomfortable and you might feel unwanted at that point, but you have to make an attempt. Because I promise, if you don't, you very well could regret it.
And honestly, sometimes that's all we need is just that person to like make us feel like we are worth it and that there is somebody out there that loves us.
You're not completely alone.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like sometimes literally all it takes is that one person asking like, hey, are you okay?
Yeah.
Or like, hey, do you want to talk?
Even if they don't want to talk about it, just being present and being there can make such a huge difference.
Fucking show up with coloring books and be like, hey, you want to color? I got juice boxes.
Oh my God, that's been so much fun.
Hell yeah. Some juice boxes.
Like, just do something to get their mind off of it.
Yeah. Go for a drive. Driving and music, best medicine.
Really.
Laughter. Laughter's the best medicine. Should never be sick. I'm laughing all the time. All the time.
Yes.
I think that's what we have, isn't it?
Yeah. So just remember that seasonal depression is normal, but make sure to reach out if you need help, or if you see somebody struggling, you reach out to them. But either way, even if you want to reach out to us,
Oh yeah,
we're here.
Absolutely.
even if
We
you
got
just
you.
need somebody to listen to you,
Yeah,
we are great at listening.
we are great at listening.
And remember, you're valid. Your feelings are valid. Your thoughts are valid.
You matter. And we want you here.
We do. We want you here.
We love you. You're important.
So, even though the winter is sometimes sad and dreary, get cozy on your couch, read a good book, drink some hot cocoa, enjoy the coziness of your home, even though sometimes it's dreary and annoying and sad, but
Find the things that make you cozy
yes.
and do them. That's my best advice for the winter blues. Whether that's crocheting, reading, movies, books, I mean, anything. Find it, do it, make yourself cozy.
Yeah.
All right.
Until next time.
Take care of yourself, friends.
Although we call it chaos, it's what we thrive in best.
Until we meet again, chaos creatures.
Stay you, stay true, and embrace the chaos.